So, hi everyone, let's start the conversation. Unfortunately, Daniela is not with us right now. I tried to reach out to her, but I don't know, somehow a technical issue. That makes it a bit challenging if you want to have an interview style for this meeting, and I'm alone. So, how to do that? So, yes, I organized a bit. Let's just get started because I do this all day long and I'm speaking with so many customers. So, why not just talk about this? It's all about conversion and it's about images. And as you know, that we have our platform Intellivy and we provide consumer insights. One of the polls that we have is the image tag poll. And let me give you an example. So let me give me a moment to pop it up. And as said, I was really prepared to have an interview style, have the conversation going, and then from there you can follow our lead. Unfortunately, it's different now. So please raise your hands if you still like it, if you're excited to be with me. I need there you go. Thank you very much. I need this because, I have to figure it out now. So let's do it. So first off, the image tag poll. And by the way, I will also in this webinar today, I'm going to talk about the impact poll. So the image impact poll is a complete new poll that's available on our platform. It has to do with stop to scroll, so how to get the message across to stop the scroll and generate a click, but also how to get the conversion going, like is the message coming across to convince the buyer that they will buy your product? So those two polls, both of them, both stop the scroll and secure the sale. Both those things will be addressed with the impact poll, and I will explain about this more later in this webinar. Um, Meanwhile, I'll keep on focused if Danielle still will come, because if she does, then she's welcome. I know that many people were excited about this, so I will hear later what the reason is. Don't know. Image tag poll. That was what I'm talking about. Um, so yeah, here we go. I'm going to share my screen, and I recently spoke about this at MDS last week. In fact, in Denver. Uh, so that was in Denver, and here we go. So the image tag poll, if you don't know what it is, the image tag poll is testing your stack up against two competitor stacks. And as always, we simulate the buying journey. So what this means is that we drive respondents, in this case 90 respondents, we drive them into the situation like, hey, imagine you want to replace your old toilet brush that's worn out after years of use. Picture yourself browsing through options online, looking for a new toilet brush that will do the job well. By the way, fun fact of this all was that in Denver, I spoke about you have to test the shit out of your listing. So that's why I picked a toilet brush. It's not that we are in this kind of products. We don't. And I hope I'm not showing any images of people who are watching this webinar right now. But if you look at those three images stacks here side by side, the respondents see those stacks. So they see the stacks completely. And then they have to decide which image stack they like the most and which image stack they don't like. And then after that, they have to also tell us what image was decisive for that decision. Now, what this will do is that if you see that image stack B is winning, so here you have it, image stack B, then here you can see that image number 7 is getting the most votes. So this is the reason why people choose image stack B as the best one. So overall, they like it, but then the best image in the stack is image number 7. And then here you see that image number 4 is also doing a good job, but image number 2, absolutely not. So already by looking at this poll, it would be a very wise decision to say, let's move image number 7 to the second spot. But of course, you also have to look at your competitor stacks. So here, for instance, you see that this one is getting on the fourth image 8 votes, positive. So you can go into the details. They're down here. We're not going to do it now because, well, we need to also get to the impact poll as promised. But then you see that you can really dive into the details. You can filter on the specific stack. You can go to the specific image. You can filter on positive or negative and read the responses of each individual, each consumer that will tell you what is it that they like or dislike about that image. But the main purpose of this all is that you understand the wants, needs, and desires that is driving the sale. People are giving you that click, and then they enter the listing. Now they come to the point to scan through the images and see, like, is the message coming across? Is this the product that I want to buy or not? Now, back to image tag B. Here you see that image number 7 is telling you something me like opening base design, keep your bathroom neat and clean. And then here, like water vapor evaporation. So it's very technical. So I'm not really sure, like, is this really a good message or not? And that's something that we can fix with the impact poll. As mentioned, I will talk about this later. Let's also look at image tag A. What is doing this one doing here? So here we see that image number 3 is getting 9 votes. So they're saying something about 360 rubber brush head, hollow suspension, also like no water. So it's different wording, no water accumulation. Okay, same thing. By the way, to me, it all looks like a Dyson or something like that. I don't know what's doing here. It's very technical. Might even think that it makes noise if it's in your bathroom. I don't know. But overall, it seems that people try to bring the message across like opening base design. So it does not drip, etc. Now, by the way, meanwhile, let me check if I'm still by my. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Absolutely, this is terrible. I'm going to stop share my screen again. See. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that, Camelot. Absolutely. Let's do it. There you go. That's very nice to welcome you. Is your camera on?
Yes, I think so, Peter. It should be on.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, Peter. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
Doing very good. Thank
I
you.
don't
Thanks.
see you. I don't see you yet. So is that me or is it you?
I don't think I have the camera option because I've joined as
Doesn't matter. Hey, why
yeah.
not introduce yourself?
Yeah, for those yeah, my name is Kamal. I'm the
I
founder
see
and
now
CEO.
Daniela's also coming in, so this makes it more interesting. Let's do it. This is
Okay.
absolutely completely creative. If we speak about being creative, then this is creative. Give me a
No, I'm not.
moment.
Yeah, if
Somehow,
she's
I think we from the preparation side, so I'm going to let uh, Danielle also in. There she is.
if she's here, then
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
putting
but
mute. Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
want to. No, you just stay around for a moment. That's fine. Hi,
Can you hear
Daniela.
me?
Yeah, I
Hi.
do.
I'm so sorry about that. I
No.
cannot find the link.
Well, I think everybody watched me freaking me out. Yeah.
You know what's funny? John Aspinall texted me and he's like, "Where are you?" He's like,
Yeah,
"No,
and
no
that
webinar today?"
means that John is a bit closer than I am because I couldn't text you. I tried to do it, but the only connection I had was via email and LinkedIn. So there you have it.
Well, we got to get on WhatsApp.
Yeah, we have to get that sorted. Do you have your camera or not? Or
I don't
also,
think I can even, I think I have to join from your other link. I think I just got an email from your team here. Let
yeah,
me jump on that and then I can switch over. So let's do
yeah.
that. Let's see.
Hey, but come here to let also because I don't want to. You were
No,
just explaining a little bit about you. Tell me,
I think you might have to make me a host. It's
okay?
not letting me
Oh, that's it.
turn on my camera.
Okay, this is absolutely interesting. There you go. Is that
All right,
working?
join as panel. And we're up. There
Yeah.
we go.
Wow.
There we go.
Okay, come with. What are we
Woohoo!
going to do? I
Oh, I
still
get a
like you
fancy
to have to do
background.
an. Yeah, he was just joining, like giving the suggestion, like, do you want me as a backup speaker? So why not?
No, yeah, hey Daniela. So since she's here, I'm gonna take a step back because the reason I'm here, I wanna listen to Daniela's, presentation and what she's got to offer. But maybe next time, we can do something together.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. We'll do. Well,
Thank
thank you very
you.
much. So that is Kamerit, AMZ One Step, also a very, very amazing agency, doing a lot of images for Amazon sellers. So check it out. And we will do a next session, Kamerit. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Hi, Kamal.
Okay. So there we go. Hi,
We're here.
Daniela.
We made it.
We made it. Yeah, I already gave a brief introduction that we're going to talk about creators and about conversion. And that is not just making nice images, because that's not enough. So I see you in the background, by the way. You have Intellivy.
I think that's like your automatic setting, but I'll take it.
It's absolutely amazing. What a weird. Can we even publish this video? Is this normal? Is this like business standard or not?
It's fine. It's fine. So I
That's
am not from Intellivy, people. I'm from mindfulgoods.co.
yeah.
But this background is pretty cool. I got to make one of my own. I think because when I got the invite from your team, it's probably your team link.
Yeah.
So it's probably thinking that I'm part of the Intellivy team as I'm using that link. But
We can make it even more confusing. I'm sitting at the same space. Wait. There we go.
oh, but yours is reversed.
Oh, mine is reversed. Oh, that's even more
Funny.
interesting. Well, let's get rid of that then. That's not a
That
good
is
idea.
so funny. No, yours is right. Mine is
I-
the opposite.
I hope that everybody's watching is also find it funny. I'm not sure. So, but I was just explaining about the image tag poll, and I was showing like based on the image tag poll, you can immediately see very easy like the order of images. People are really giving a shout out, giving a high vote to, let's say, image number 7. And then you see for image number 2, for instance, that really has drive to sale. That's the one that has to grab the attention, is not doing his job. So that's was the point where I got stuck. So I can still share you the screen. It was about a toilet brush in relation to testing the shit out of your listing. So yeah, but here it is. So here you see the free stacks. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the free stacks, and then as said, like as we always do with our polls, we place them in the buying scenario, the 90 respondents, and then come up with the question like, please let us know which image tag do you like the most, and then what image was decisive for this. Now then you see this order, and to me, like immediately I can just say like, okay, image number 7, if this would be my listing, I would definitely move it to the second spot. However, if you look at the wording on that image itself, it's a little bit technical, and let me give you let the floor be yours, that you can tell something about yourself and about how you approach images and A+ content and Amazon listings and how you do branding, because that's what you do. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And
well, that
tell
poll
me.
is actually my favorite poll from Intellivy. I know that there's so many different options, and it's great because the different options are for each stage of where you're at in your testing journey and for what specifically you're trying to solve for. And you showed me another one that you're going to show in just a minute, which we don't use as actively as you do, which I'm actually now really excited to use for this exact purpose. But the way that we think about creating the images is that we want to hypothesize what are the selling points for every brand, and how do we visually show one selling point or solve one problem or have one function for every single image. So if the function of this image is to introduce the product and just tell people what it is, what are we showing? What are we saying? So that is the lens through which we look through every single image, is function. What are we showing? What are we saying? Is it achieving that function? So I think that really aligns with that other type of poll that you're going to share in just a moment.
I will do that.
But what we do is we kind of hypothesize from that perspective. So if you think as a brand owner, I know that people buy my product for these 5 to 10 reasons. Really, people are going to be moved by maybe 3 to 5 of those reasons. So we need to figure out which ones are the most powerful. And sometimes when you create an image, we might have an idea of like, this image will perform really well because a lot of people are asking this question about this product. Let's make an image around this product. But then we notice it might not perform well when we run the poll on Intellivy. And then we have to understand, well, why is it not performing well? What else can we do to make that one perform better? So like the poll that you just showed, it's really easy to see which one's the best performer, right? And we can put that at the beginning of the stack, but then why are the other ones not performing and how do we get those to perform better? And that's the work that you can do over time, you
Can you
know?
explain? Because, you know, well, I'm going to give a small introduction. I'm since 2008. So in 2008, I got the opportunity to take over the business of my father. And it was a very traditional advertising company. And I converted that into online. So that was my first step as being a sales guy over 25 years. And then, oh, you know what? I'm going to do creators. And I hired a designer. So she told me really at a job interview, when I decided to hire her, I asked her, okay, so what do you need? She said, well, I need a Mac and I need Photoshop and InDesign and Illustrator. So that was my first touch point with design. And from there, I will keep that journey very short, but I learned that if creators are like in their process, they cannot stop. And before you know it, and that's what I see in our polls as well, is that you are ending up in design contest. And this is even something that's happening in companies. So you see entrepreneurs like, okay, so what's next? Okay, now we have a winning image, but it's missing the point because you're making a beautiful design, but it's not bringing the message across that's needed. So how do you solve that? Because I know you don't have that. The A plus content, the things that you make and the things that you create, it's also always spot on. Like it's absolutely amazing. How do you solve that? How do you keep the creatives going?
Yeah. Well, I think what's interesting about our process is we're trying to, in the very early stages, bring in as much data as possible. So we're pulling things from Data Dive, we're pulling things from the search query reports, we're pulling things from the PPC reports, we're analyzing the reviews on the competitors' listings. We're like pulling as much data as we can get from everywhere. We have all the data from what the brand knows about their own products and what maybe they've done some consumer testing as well, right? So
Yeah.
bringing all of that into one place and then looking at it and saying, okay, this is all the data. This is what we know moves the needle with the competition. This is what we think moves the needle based on the consumer insights. This is the avatar of the customer. So, and this is what the brand knows so far to date that they think moves the needle, right? So
Yeah.
all we can do is take all of that data and approach it from that perspective of testing, right? So we're not just blindly making an us versus them image because we know that most brands perform, well with an us versus them image.
Yeah.
I mean, every brand should have a product and use image, period, because that's the number one performing image type on Amazon. But beyond that, what is the image saying? What is it communicating? What is the point of that image that then ties back into your data? Because the customer needs to know these 5 things in order to buy. So if we can narrow it down, so the customer needs to know these 5 to 10 things. It's like a checklist in their mind, right? And sometimes, like today, I had a call with a client and he said, one of the number one things on our checklist as a buyer of this type of product is this specific type of certification. So I'm like, great, let's make sure that's the first or second thing they see. It needs to be on the main image so that we have it as a little call out. Because if they can just check that off, or if we do that and none of the competitors are doing it, we're likely going to get more clicks.
And
right?
that certification is not necessarily a search term. So that's what I see very quite often. Like, for instance, if you're in scales, a scale is the search term, but accuracy, it's something that you expect. But now it comes down to how to communicate accuracy. How do you do that?
Yeah.
So, and then creators. So if you really have to bring that message across, like accuracy is important, or sturdiness in bookshelves, or easy to install and whatever, like you have always those minor details like benefits that people are looking for. It's not related to search terms. It's related to the buying decision. Right?
That's
So,
interesting. Yeah, I think we play around with a few different concepts for main images specifically. We try to do something like that would be a no-brainer, right? We want to test, should we include that certification badge? Because it's a nice little pretty logo. We can put it on top of the packaging. Or we know that that product is also doing a 4-pack. We want to make sure we have the 4-pack on there. Or we know that people who are buying this product are very specifically interested in this one thing that has to do with this product. And we notice in the sales results that the sales happen to be related to this keyword, specifically this main root keyword.
Yeah.
So let's test that as well, you
Yeah,
know? And
exactly.
obviously we don't want to have a main image with like 50 million things on it, but we're actually chatting with a team that ties a lot of, they have like the gold standard of like the scientific method of imagery tied
Yeah.
into their platform. And they say, you know, the 5 unique elements are acceptable on your main image. So
Yeah.
if we think through 5 main things that we're trying to communicate on that main image for a food product, it could be what's the size, what is it? Because if you just say snack bar, that's not good enough anymore. Is it a low sugar protein bar? Is it a nut bar? Is it a, like, what is it? You know, like, let's be super clear. Obviously having your logo on there is important. So that's 3 elements right there. Is it a 12-pack? That's your 4th element.
May I ask you, who is involved in this process? So if you just, let's say, the roles, if you define the roles, who is involved in this process?
On our team.
Yeah. Like
So we
if we
have,
want to teach today, like, hey, listen, using those kind of tools, you speak about scientific approach. We both know like what we are talking about.
yeah.
Like, but you cannot just, that's something I've learned. You cannot just say like, okay, here we have a tool. Now step in and you follow an SOP and then you do the scientific approach. That's not, it does not work like that. So
So our process is we collect all the data from the client in an intake form. We have another team member that does all of the SEO competitive data research. We have another team member that's analyzing all of that data and analyzing whatever the client presented and creating basically a brief that goes to our designer, right? So already there, we have at least 2 team members that have reviewed everything, and then the instructions for the design gets sent to the designer.
yeah,
Once we have some sort of draft, though, it goes to a 3rd team member that is running the testing. And so
yeah,
we have a team member that's basically her whole job is to run these tests.
yeah. So you focus on hypothesis, right? That's what you do. You have an hypothesis and then you test on that, like test specific elements. Is it coming across? You spoke about the batch or accuracy, whatever. That's what I named.
Technically, we have 2 team members that run tests. One team member that's dedicated to what we call internal testing, and one team member that's what we call external testing. So
Oh,
external testing for us means that it's not happening inside of Amazon, that it's using tools like Intellivy to understand, is this working or not? What's the best way that we can pre-validate this before we upload it to Amazon? That's so crucial.
yeah.
And then we know from that data alone that if we do that correctly and we show that, and it's not, I agree with you, it's not about showing a winning result. It's not about winning in your
No,
testing. You want to fail before as much as possible so you can create the best. It's about iteration, right? But
exactly.
if you can pre-validate and show a winning result in that makes sense inside of Intellivy, you will have a 75% likelihood of seeing an increase in sales on Amazon. So the pre-validation external testing outside of Amazon is so crucial. I think a lot of people skip that. They just design something and they go straight to uploading to Amazon.
Exactly. That. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then what I always is like, okay, now you have your experiment running. You have to wait. That's number 1. And then 2, if you have a winning element. So let's say one of the 2 is winning. You don't know why. So then you get stuck because you cannot implement the improvement further in your listing and get to the point of, let's say, A+ content and really build your listing. Maybe even think about variations because you see a different approach in differentiation. So yeah. Well, as promised, so the impact poll.
Yes, that's the
Let
one
me,
I'm excited about.
yeah. So let me show it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this comes back to what I was saying about, like, how do you know if something's resonating or not, you know? And this is where you really have to prove the function of an image, right?
Exactly. That's it. That's it. So I took this image because I came from the point like, okay, already I can see that image number 7 has to move to the 2nd spot. That's the way how I see it. So of course it's not that simple. You cannot just say, oh, now I know that, let's put it online. You have to put it to the test again. So I like your approach of having 2 teams. One is online on the Amazon, one is offline doing it in a pre-sale testing environment, which is much safer and also saves a lot of money. Now, if you have this image, the way I looked at it is like opening base design. To me, it felt very technical. And I see that many times, by the way, that entrepreneurs or founders or product owners, whatever, they create something and now we have something unique. And then they approach it in a way like way too technical. I have the same problem, by the way.
This is actually really surprising for me that this one got 14 positive votes, like the top performing image. But you're right. The first thing it says is opening base design, which I have no idea what that even means.
No, but the point is, I believe that opening base design is not the specific element that people like. I don't think that's it.
They like the
So
visual.
now we get to the point that the image impact poll. So this is a new poll type we have. So let's go to the image impact poll. And then I already, because we are also in time, and I like to respect time. People are entering this webinar, expect a certain time, so we have to do it quickly. But it's called Secure the Sale. That's the one that I'm going to show today. So then you see here that I used it for MDS. And let's go to an optimized image. So what I changed, and I hope I can see it, show you big enough, but I changed it in, let me do it in here. So there we go. Okay, you see the image a little bit bigger. So I changed just a few wordings like drip-free design. I still keep your bathroom neat and clean. I changed evaporates moisture quickly, no drips, no mess. I just the wording. That's all, nothing more.
Yeah.
Now,
I have a question for you on this one.
Yeah.
Did you take the wording from some of the language that was used in the summary from the previous test?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
And
that.
that's a great tip. That's a great pro tip for people to know.
Absolutely.
That using the customer's actual language in the creative by itself is another like reinforcing thing that can help them subconsciously want to buy the product.
Absolutely. But if we speak about pre-sale testing and just throwing an image out there and then ask for a response, we don't believe that's the way you should do it. We want to simulate a buying journey. So what we do is we have 100 respondents. We place them in a situation, so that's the first start, where we say, hey, listen, you want to replace your old toilet brush. We ask them in situation insights, first like text, hey, when you read the situation, what should you think is most important to give attention to? So now the mindset is already driving to the point of, okay, I get it. You know, I'm going to buy a toilet brush. That's the whole point. That's what we want to achieve. Then after that, for reference, we show them the main image. And that main image is kind of the simulation of giving that click. So you got the click now. So now they're entering the listing, and this is my second image. So this is the way we develop the journey. Now we show this image for 0.5 seconds to 50 people. So we have 100 in total. The first 50 see the image in 0.5 seconds. The second group, 50, see it 2 seconds. And now we can test if the message is coming across as intended. So the way you said, like, I'm going to brief a designer, hey, let's create an image and let's communicate accuracy, or let's communicate trust, or let's communicate, what was your example with the badge? I forgot.
Certification.
The certification,
trust.
exactly, that trust. Yeah. So now you can type in here. So in this case, it's like, I'm here doing no drip, no mess. And then it's saying we validate. It's not, I can also do, let's do neat and clean. So neat and clean. Let's say that this is what I want to test. Like, is it really coming across or not? Revalidate. Now it's diving into all the individual responses, and it's giving me the overview, like what is happening in 0.5 seconds and in 2 seconds. Which is funny, by the way. I got a question in Denver from some people like 0.5 seconds. That's crazy. Well, it's not, because if you have a scroll stopper, it's the same thing. It's not, and you have to imagine, like, people who are in a buying mode, they see things that you cannot even imagine in 0.5 seconds. If you're like really in a buying mode, you want something, you see something. And the point is that you need to understand what is it that you need to see to get that click and to get that sale. And that's what we simulate. Now, the message neat and clean was more frequently called by respondents who viewed the image for 2 seconds. Of course, you can say, oh, that's obvious. Yeah, of course. But the thing is, like, you need to see that all I did, so I don't have the time for this now, but everything is coming across. So the no drips, no mess, people saw it. Like self-drying technology, even that. If I check it like self-drying, let's do that. Self-drying. Some I already tested it. People see it. So it's working. And if it's not, you see it also, then it's really a failure. Like nobody's really saying a thing about it. And you might say like that's obvious, but it's really a very good tool to test the impact of the image. How do you like it, by the way? You see it also for, what is it, second time?
I love this. I think what's interesting is I would have liked to see the results of running this test on the previous version versus what you're getting now, because this is fixed in my mind, and you're proving that it's fixed, which is great.
That's true.
I'm curious, like from a founder's perspective, a lot of times they might see the previous image and say, oh, but it got the most amount of votes. It's ready to go. You know, like I don't need to make any changes. That's the best performing image. So this is one step that you can do beyond that. And you know this because you look at images day in and day out and you're like, yes, it's performing best, but look at that language. It could be so much better. Like you instantly look at that and say it could be so much better. I think many founders don't look at it and see it that way, that it could be even better. And then it would be interesting to prove that it's better by running your poll stack again.
Exactly.
Your image stack poll.
That's exactly the process. And you spoke about scientific approach, but that's exactly the process you have to follow. And you see here, by the way, that people are really saying, like, including its drip-free design, self-drying technology, and the neat, clean appearance that suggests ease of use and maintenance. So it's all coming across. And you're right, it's fixed. I created something that I already know this is going to perform very well. It would have been better to show something that's really not so good. So indeed, I agree.
So that's the question, is like, if a founder's in a place where they just don't know if their image is good, you can run this test. Let this test tell you the ways that you can improve it. Understand whether people even understand your image or not. And if they don't, you'll know exactly which things you need to do to change it.
Exactly. That's it.
Love it.
Maybe for now, do we have some questions here? What is it? Let me see. I can, for when you take questions, I have a product that is a set of, can you see the question as well, Daniela, or not?
I don't see any questions.
Okay, I have a product that is
okay, yeah, I do.
A set of 4 workbooks.
I'll read the whole question.
Thank you.
I have a product that is a set of 4 workbooks, which come in a wonderful, fun packaging with special pens and grips. I struggle with how to create a main image that communicates enough to get the click without having so much in it that it doesn't stop the scroll. What's your experience and thoughts? Ooh, this is a tough one because it's got lots of little elements, right? 4 workbooks, fun packaging, special pens and grips. Obviously the first thing I do is I try to see what is on Amazon today. So I go and take a screenshot and analyze all of the other main images that are showing up on page 1. Then the other thing I like to do is go look at something in a different category that might help me think of something different outside the box, you know, get some ideas going. At this stage, when you're ideating, there's no wrong answer. You need to just come up with different ideas and then distill it down into, okay, I can have up to 5 elements, so it's not too cluttered. But what are the 5 elements? What are the call outs on my image? What is the eye candy? So from our lens, we want to reduce as much space as possible. We want to show the product in unique and different ways and angles than the competitors are. Like if everybody's showing their stand going like, well, it's getting cut off, but their stand or if they're showing their journal like this, maybe that's better.
Yeah. Now you're completely
nope,
gone.
I'm a ghost.
But I can try. I can try.
Oh, here we go.
My hands.
It's showing my hands.
You mean like this,
yeah.
like exactly like showing in a
if they're showing
angle.
it like this, maybe we want to show it like this.
Yeah.
You know, or like this.
Yeah.
And so there's so many different ways that you can try to show your product. You know, so if everyone's doing this, maybe do this.
Exactly. But your number one, and that's absolutely what I agree on. Your number one is you have to check the current competitors. The current competitors are already getting the click. So you need to understand how are they getting the click. Then second, if you have an hypothesis like, oh, but if I add this feature, then I might be better then. Okay, test that. See if it's true. So then show your idea up against the relevant competitors. And third,
Mhm.
that's the one that I want to mention. In addition, do not just think about the images alone, because the title is a very important part of the scroll stopping moment. And the wordings in there and the order of wordings is also selling the product and generating that click. So the full
Mhm.
combination of the title is really doing its job.
Mhm.
But that's what I would say. And I did that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I would think through is like, looking in other categories can be really interesting, right? Because if you have a lot of competition in your space and everybody's doing the same thing, they all have these like really great main images, you need to think of something else. Like just by doing the same thing, you're just going to fall into the same, you
Yeah.
know? So in that sense, you need to break the pattern. You need to do something else. If there's not a whole lot of competition, like we still see categories where there's not a whole lot going on. So almost anything we do is going to grab attention from the competition when we think through the lens of removing white space, adding a keyword call out, using eye candy, and using interesting angles or shadows. If you do all of that right, you can stand out almost immediately. If there's a lot of competition, you need to get more creative, look at the competition, see what else is going on outside of your category, and you'll get lots of great ideas. Like go into other toy categories, other things that have lots of little pieces, and see what else other companies are doing.
Hey, and maybe not the best thing to ask at almost at the final minutes of this webinar, of this very, very interesting conversation, by the way. Thank you very much. By the way, if you're watching now and you see Daniela in the background, Intellivy, she's not from Intellivy, she's from Mindful Goods. But somehow we screwed up with the setting and everything. So technically, it's an interesting webinar today. But the question I want to ask you is,
Yeah.
what is your first priority, CDR or CVR?
My first priority, CTR or what?
CVR,
Click through.
conversion. So click
Oh
through
gosh.
or
So for
conversion.
me,
I'm sorry, I mentioned it
I
already. This is interesting.
I personally, I look through it as a 3-step. So the first step is how do we get found in search? So I'm trying to think through the journey of a buyer, right? Like if we can't get found in search, then what's the point? Right. So that comes back to our SEO. That's our
Yeah,
title, our bullets,
yeah.
our description, all
Is
of that.
there if
After
there's
that,
no
let's say
traffic?
that's done.
Yeah,
If
if
that's
there's no
done and we're
traffic,
showing up, great. Now,
yeah,
how do we get the click?
yeah,
Because now I'm showing up, but if I can't get them into the listing, why am I going to focus on the rest of it? Right.
yeah,
So I got to get them into the listing. That's the main image. And then the third thing is improving the content within the listing, which I think can be the heaviest lift for a lot of founders. So I feel like that's the part that we focus on. We do it all in our packages, but that it all has to be done, but it's the heaviest lift. The title
yeah,
is easy to change. The main image is easy to change. The A+ content, when you're doing it right, it's a harder lift. It's a heavier lift.
exactly.
So we do that
Yeah,
last.
yeah, I agree.
But it has the highest potential. We had a brand last month that had improved their sales 1,008%
Whoa,
by doing premium, or they with basic A+ content. Basic A+ content. Can you believe that?
whoa.
Yeah. So like there's still such high potential with even basic A+ content. The only reason we did basic with them is because they have to, because they're on vendor. Otherwise, everyone does premium and everyone's seeing great results with premium A+ content.
Yeah, and that was conversion. Because I'm
Another
asking,
question.
yeah, I see a question. Let me, we can show it. But to continue on that, because indeed, if there's no click, no traffic, you have no sales. But if we speak about clicks, getting clicks, I think you get so much interesting insights from the conversion test, like knowing what is bringing the sale. And you can combine that. You can really bring it back to a very strong click, like a pitch moment, like the same as in ordinary sales or traditional sales.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But I like that dynamic between those two.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really have one without the other. Like you can't have, like, you can have great content in your listing, and if you have a crappy main image, you're just not going to get that many into your listing. So your sales are
Yeah,
going to suffer in that way, you know? But
yeah,
then it's like you need both. You need both.
exactly.
It's a
Hey,
trick
shall we
question.
shall we answer the final? We also have to respect the time. I see a
Yes.
final question here. Should we upload our main image of product with a description or showcase how the product works?
should we upload our main image of the product with a description or showcase how the product works? That, well, if it's not clear how your image works, then you have to figure out a way to say how it works so that's where packaging, making a set of packaging behind your image can be super helpful. Like we've had to do this with exercise equipment where like when people look at the exercise equipment, they're like, what is that? They might not know what it is because it's a new invention or a specific yoga thing that people don't know about or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
one way that you can help people understand what it is by putting a box behind it and it just in 3 words, just say what it is so that people get it, right?
Yeah.
Another option is we've done this in some categories where showing how the product works can be really interesting, especially exercise equipment is another great one. Like they might not know what it is, but if they see somebody using it, they're like, oh, okay, you go like it's an arm exerciser. They can see somebody going like this
Yeah.
and it has product in use, which is one of the best types of images to use.
But I also think that Amazon, so we have to be honest about this, being very unique or being very new or making something that people don't know, it's pretty hard because the marketplace is still very search, find, buy. So you have need-based
Yes.
shoppers, people who know what they want, and you have information gatherers. So they are like searching, but do know what they want, but not exactly.
Yeah.
Then if you try to enter the space and you have to teach them how your product works,
it's
you
really hard.
probably rethink your approach and go to TikTok because then you have all the opportunities to just show them like, look at it, look at it, look at it. And people are just
Yeah.
buying stuff. That's my thought on this.
Yeah, it is really hard. We had a brand reach out to us recently and they have a product that falls in a category, let's, a cookie that's like like everybody eats cookies, right? But then hers was like in a niche version of a cookie, but it was
Yeah.
so niche that not a lot of people are searching for that niche. But people do buy cookies and people do buy
Exactly.
healthier versions of cookies. And so from that perspective, it is going to be very difficult because there is not demand yet for that specific niche product, but there is demand for healthier products in general. People do want them. So in that sense, like, yes, she should be on Amazon because people are wanting other solutions, but there's more education to be done because she's not naturally showing up in search because people just naturally aren't searching for that specific set of keywords in relation to cookie.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
that's the way you kind of have to look at it on Amazon, where if it's a new invention or it's something that people are not, there's no demand for it, which you can easily prove, pull that data from Data Dive or from other tools before you go on Amazon and to see whether it's worth it for you. I had a friend create a product and he was like, can you look up the data to tell me how many sales are related to this type of product? We've been making this at home. I think it would be such a great product. I was like, before you just go and put this product on Amazon, let me show you the sales. And then you can decide as a founder whether you think that's even valuable to you or not, because that amount of energy that you're going to spend may be better spent somewhere else. Or you might have another product idea down the road that has a much higher sales potential.
Exactly.
And when I showed him the sales, he was like, oh, nope, never mind.
Yeah.
Not even going to worry about that.
Well, people can definitely hear that you have a lot of experience in this field. You do. Hey, we have to wrap up. And before this webinar, when we prepared, so you mentioned that you can do a mini audit. Can you tell something about it?
Sure. Yeah. For brands that want myself or one of our creative directors to look at your listing and give you the A to Z of what we would do for your listing. We have a mini audit on our website. It's $300 and we are giving a code today. I think we're giving $100 off.
That's what you
where
said.
you can, you can have us review the listing. We'll give you a Loom video, and we have a lot of brands that just come to us for that. They take the video and they give it to their design team, and that's totally fine. And then there's brands that they do that. They see how amazing the insights are, and then they want to work with us. So it's totally up to you what you decide to do with that.
Yeah, I love it. So, and from our side, we will offer a 30% coupon. The impact poll, so that's the new poll that we have. It's one, to learn how to stop the scroll and get the click. And the other one is to secure the sale. Is the message really coming across to, well, get the sale? And you can use the coupon 30% coupon, 30% off for these polls. And we will send this out, these offers. So Mindful Goods, mini audit, normally $300, now for $100. and 30% coupon for all attendees for this webinar today. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Daniela. We had a few hiccups at the start, but that was all technical. It's fine. We are still laughing, so that's good. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.